Hey, today's conversation is for us women who is looking to take back our power. So if that sounds like you, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you follow and share this broadcast for other women who too are looking to take back their power. So let's jump right into it. So listen, I thought that this conversation was so necessary because you may sometimes lose yourself, right? So I'll speak for myself. There are days where I feel like I have lost myself, right? There are three major areas in my life where I feel like I have lost myself and I have to get myself back grounded to who I used to be. That's when I got married, that's when I had children, and that's also when I started my business. Those are the three biggest changes that happened in my life in which I started to lose myself because I was focusing on the needs of everyone else. There is something in which you are requiring yourself to take back your power. You are in a season where it is necessary. So I wanted to talk about how you can get your power back through the tool of journaling. This is something that not a lot of people are going to talk about. Not a lot of people are familiar with how to actually journal. A lot of people think, well, I don't really like writing. I don't really have time. And so there's a lot of pushback when it comes to the topic of journaling. And so I want to be able to debunk some of those myths. Journaling, it doesn't have to be hard. So let's get into it. So one of the advantages to journaling and taking back your power is that it allows you to be honest with how you feel. Many times we run and we try to escape from our feelings. We try to escape from how we, our emotion. And so as humans in our human experience, it is normal for us to try to run and avoid and to get out of the way of how we're actually feeling. However, it is necessary for us to be honest and truthful, right? And so you might have heard the concept of what you don't feel, you can't heal. Well, that is a true concept. Anything that you don't feel, you can't heal. And so what does that mean? That means running is not going to help you. If you're always running from your emotions, if you're always running from your feelings, you're never going to get better. And so people have this false notion, there's this false narrative out there that time heals all wounds. The thing is, it does not. It doesn't. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you it doesn't. When I went through my life change of getting married, there were a lot of things that came up that I really didn't even really avoid when I was younger, but it wasn't dealt with when I was younger. And so now in my marriage, what ended up happening is that there were specific things that came up that I didn't even know was an issue. I am one of those people, if I hold things in, it's going to come out. That's the human experience, right? Sometimes you explode if you hold things in, you just try to pack it inside. Sometimes it's like that Jack in the Box, right? You pack things in, you pack it in, and then you just crank it, and then it just explodes. Now, here's the thing. I'm one of those people who back in the day, I was a person who always said I didn't care, even though I did, right? I was like a little emotional thug, if you will. I was an emotional thug. Sometimes we would try to run from our emotions, and when you run from your emotions, it could come up later, and that can sometimes be dangerous for either party. Sometimes that can hurt you and the other person. That can harm your relationship with you and the other person. That can harm the relationship you have with you, because then you might do some things and feel like, you feel ashamed. Not running from your emotions is one of the key things about journaling. It'll get all of your emotions off your heart and down on paper. So getting all those emotions out, putting them down on paper is a good way to be honest with yourself and to open up communication with others who you have to communicate your emotions with. It makes it just a little bit easier. The next thing about journaling that I enjoy is gratitude journaling. And so it is so critical for me to talk to God, right? So in my business, I'm always looking for wisdom. I'm always looking for answers. And I always pull on God. I always say, God, please give me, show me the way. Open my eyes to things that I can't see. Help me fill in the gaps in my business or the places that, I can't observe or that I don't see. Provide me a solution, God. Give me some wisdom. Guide my footsteps. Be a lamp unto my path. So all those things are good, right? But then there are some days, if we're going to be honest, there are some days where sometimes I do lean on myself. There are days where I'm leaning into my own understanding. And the days that I know that I'm doing that, because I am very mindful of my emotions and how I feel, those days when I know I am leaning into my own understanding, I have the worst migraines ever. I have the worst migraine, my anxiety is through the roof, my stress is up. And so journaling, it helps me. So what I do is a brain dump. I like to get everything out of my head and just put it down on paper. Once I put it down on paper, I then find the solution and I'll write that solution down as well. And so for you, the great thing about journaling is that it can reduce your stress. It can reduce your anxiety. It can allow you to lean into God. It can allow you to put your prayers there and say, Lord, where do I need to go next? Where can you guide my footsteps? Because leaning into your own understanding is not always going to work, right? Having prayer journals or gratitude journaling and just telling God, Lord, I thank you for answering that prayer. After you write them down, and actually looking for places to show God gratitude. Now, waking up every morning and having breath in your body is definitely one place to start. But then there's some things, nuances, and some things that happen throughout the day where you may not really pay attention to God answering a prayer or God getting you through, right? And so sitting down and having that mindful matter with God and saying, Lord, I just absolutely thank you for guiding my footsteps today, or showing me the way, or getting rid of that fear. You gave me the words to say and everything worked out well. And I really leaned into my faith. And the conversation is not for God. Sometimes we have a conversation with God and we think it's for him. Honestly, the conversations that we have for God is really for us, because God don't need us. We need God, right? And so having those conversations and understanding that when I journal my thoughts, when I journal my prayers, when I journal my gratitude, it's really an opportunity for me to draw closer to God, because God, he wants me to build a relationship with him. And so through journaling, that is one way to really begin to build that conversation, to build that understanding, to gain wisdom, to get closer to God. And so journaling is one way that you can do that. So one of the misconceptions that I want to debunk, you really don't have to write pages on pages on pages. One of the things that I suggest, if writing is really not something that you enjoy, you can literally journal one sentence. So that's number one. Number two, journaling does not have to happen every single day. You don't have to journal every single day. So like I said for myself, one of the times that I absolutely journal is when I'm doing a brain dump, when I know I'm leaning into my own understanding. When I am looking for wisdom, I would definitely do a brain dump. I'll put all of my thoughts down on paper so that I can release the stress and the anxiety that I feel. Number three, if you don't want to write, you don't have to write. If you want to draw in your journal, if you want to paint in your journal, if you want to just have some doodles in your journal, it's up to you. However you decide to journal, whatever is going to work best for you is what you go for. Myth number four, you don't have to be perfect with your writing, right? So punctuation, if you want to have run-on sentences, have run-on sentences. If you don't want to capitalize the first letter in the sentence, then don't capitalize those letters. Like, it don't have to be perfect. Whatever it is that you're doing, know that you are taking back your power. And one of the ways, like I said before, journaling is one of those ways to help you take back your power. And so therefore, you taking back your power is more important than you needing to be perfect. The world already expects you to show up perfect. So don't require yourself to be perfect in a moment when you are being vulnerable between you and your God, or being vulnerable with you and your emotions. Don't make it perfect. It doesn't have to be that way. Be human, be messy, make mistakes, and just put some things out of your head so that you can reduce your stress, reduce your anxiety, and take back your power. So if you are a woman who's looking to take back your power, if you are looking to start decompressing, if you are looking to be honest with your emotions, get better with your personal development, and build a stronger relationship with God, be sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you can get more information on how to do so. I look forward to talking to you on the next Rachel Harper Podcast episode. I'll see you next time.